Well, welcome to Stencils and Such. This time we have got 4 stencils that we're going to be using, and both Debbie and Lene have done some creative projects. In fact, this is one, and isn't that gorgeous, with Foxgloves. So please come play with us. Now in this series, and if you happen to have a subscription, we promise you 2 stencils for the cost of $15, but this time you're going to get 4. That's right, 4, same price. So I want to pass that on to you. Crafter's Companion has given us these 3. They call them contemporary florals, and they are 5 by 5 inches. So you've got this kind of vines, you've got this design, and then you've got some flowers. So all 3 of those. We'll be using those, of course. And then we have the Foxgloves that I alluded to and showed you in that very first project. So 4 different projects, 4 different techniques. And we're going to start with this one, which Debbie did something that I have never seen before. So that was interesting and always very fun. So let me get this one out. And as you're looking at this, you can see that there are many shades of green on here. And this, of course, is a slimline card. So how do you get this 5 by 5 to be a slimline? Okay, Debbie, let's see what you did. So she took a 5 by 5 square, and then she covered it completely with holly green ink pad. So just you're just going to get that all over and completely cover it. So just do that all over. Then, clever woman, she put the stencil on top, and then she put a baby wipe. Okay, these are the baby wipes we have. Put the baby wipe on top of that and ran it through her die cutting machine. You want to make sure that you've got some shims underneath it, and just ran it through probably about 3 times. That's what she told me she did. And then you will get this. You will get almost, well, not almost, but an embossed image. Yes, let's get it even closer. Okay, so you can see it is multiple shades. And what's happening is that baby wipe is making the green kind of be a little bit more all over, and your machine is pressing the paper into the stencil, and it's giving you that look. How neat is that? Then she simply cut the paper into 2 pieces, and where they're going to overlap, which probably wouldn't be very pretty because you would have that edge on it and so forth. That's where we're going to create this piece. So let me just walk you through this. Now, her slimline card has an inch cut off of the front, and she did use some different pattern papers and solid papers. So she used At the Lake, and you can see how pretty that is. Again, it's keeping our green going for us. So she covered the inside with the patterned At the Lake. And then the front, she used the solid At the Lake, but of course they all coordinate, and covered that front flap. Then she took her 2 pieces of her embossed and stenciled piece and matted them on the gold Mary, just like that. And that's going to give you this beautiful look. But you're going to have that funny place where they overlap. And then she has used our oval cutting dies right here. And she cut the Mary again with the scallop piece. And then she used this, and this is out of the At the Lake die cuts. In fact, you can see the edge of it. So this piece is the die cut. Now she chose to make this a sympathy card, and I think she's just done a beautiful job. So this is using our Sympathy Dazzles, and you get several colors, and she used the gold right there, of course. And then she did a strip of gold. It's about a 1/4 of an inch strip just on the outside edge, and I think that's such a classy look. So classy lady, Debbie. And then inside there is another of the die cuts, and so sorry for your loss. So beautiful. Now this format can be used, of course, for any theme, but she's done it beautifully for a sympathy card. Now Debbie gave me a couple of other things to show you. Now this is on the piece that was made green, but this is the exact same process but on white cardstock, and you get a little more variation of colors. So I thought that was interesting. And then this one, she said it just came out a little more lighter than she wanted because it wasn't as easy to see the embossed stencil. Then this one, she went over it with the gold ink pad. So that's another look. That would be very pretty, wouldn't it? So lots of options and a clever woman. And who knew that baby wipes could be used to make this work. So I thought that was quite brilliant. Okay, so brilliance number 1. We're going to go to number 2. And this card is using another of the contemporary florals, as you can see it. Now what Lene did is she used some papers to first cover her card. Now that card is 5 by 6.5 inches. And she used the hidden animals because she wanted that brown, because she wanted to have this kind of autumn colors. And so she covered the front of her card with that brown. And then she used papers out of Joyful Christmas. So interesting. So this strip down below is out of the red. And there's also a brown in there, which you can see that she used to do her stenciling. And I have to tell you, I think so many times, most people, whether they're stenciling or stamping, always think about putting it on white cardstock, maybe a colored cardstock, but pretty much just flat. But if you put it on a pattern paper, and I'm hoping you can see this, you're going to get more depth. That's just exactly what's going to happen. And she did this on a tan, brownish paper, and she simply positioned this on top, and I'm just going to demonstrate briefly right here just to kind of tell you what she did. So of course you're going to use the low tack tape. I loved what Sarah said. Yes, you can use washi tape, but she doesn't like to kind of spin her washi tape that way. She likes to use the low tack tape. And so that's going to be right there. Again, this is a 5-inch square. And then she went in with the inks. And this is, so she used khaki, and she used cocoa brown, and she used letterbox red, okay? So those 3 colors. Now, because this design is an intricate design, she chose to take some little pieces of Post-it notes and separate out the colors that she wanted to use or didn't want to use. So for instance, in the center, so she did these 4 in the red. So she would take the Post-it and cut little or tear little pieces and place them over the areas that she wanted to be sure not to cover. Now you could use the washi tape also, but Lene in her instructions, which are down below by the way, well, she did list all of the materials that she used, of course. So you're just going to take a few minutes and cover that up. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing because you don't need to see me tear little pieces and position them. But then you can take your blender brush and just tap it right in. This is into the red, and go into the area that's right there without fear that you're going to get it in areas that you don't mean to. And you can see that this is, as I said, an intricate design, so you can take your time doing that and then just remove the strips and go on to your next color. So that's what Lene did. And just, okay, so there it is on plain white. I hope you can see the difference on that tan, just really nice. Okay, so then Lene tore the edges of the paper. So that's why it's nice to start with a paper that's wider, like a 6-inch square, even though the stencil is 5 inches. That way you've got room to do your tearing. And then she did some inking on the edge using the cocoa bean again. So that works okay. Now the other thing that Lene did, let me scoot these away, is we're going to get in super close so that you can really see. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Jeanette. So she has used the caviar beads. Now the caviar beads are beads without holes, and they're tiny. And she built up, well, actually it didn't take too long. She used the E6000 and just squeezed a piece. Now the E6000 is also used for jewelry, but it will stay as you put it down. So if you put it down in a kind of like half a ball, it's going to stay that way. And then she took this over a scrap of paper. You can do it over a bowl, anything you want, and simply pour it on the caviar beads, and then they're going to stick to whatever adhesive you have there, and that took care of it. Now you can make it flatter. You can also use the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist glue, you know, the one that we use forever. That will also work. The E6000 has a tendency to be taller. It will go higher than the Specialist glue will. Okay, so that worked there. And then she took our dazzles, and this is our Christmas dazzles, and did 'Tis the Season in green. Now that set of dazzles comes in many colors, so you'll see the item number on your on the screen down below. Just click on the card and you'll see that. Okay, let's go into this one that Lene also did. Wow. Now I bet if you've been watching this series, you know exactly what created this. And well, first of all, what created it is going to be this stencil. This is from Hunky Dory, and it's called Fabulous Foxgloves, and this is a 6x6 stencil. They call them masks in England, but we call them stencils here. And what Lene did is she used the mask, the stencil, on black cardstock, and you can see the black right here. And this is almost kind of a reverse stencil, because the piece, the Foxgloves, are not going to be colored. They are overlapping the background, okay? So what you're going to see is whatever background you use this on. In this case, it's black. Now, what she did is she used, okay, here is our Tacky When Dry. Okay, I'm reaching across here. This is the Tacky When Dry medium, gel medium, my fabulous find from the craft workshop at the trade show. And you're just simply going to place your stencil down, use a palette knife or something that has an edge that's straight so that you can take the Tacky When Dry. Let me open this up. Okay. And what's really neat, I mean, this is just marvelous stuff, absolutely marvelous. So you're just going to scoop it up. You can see it's just frothy and nice and easy to spread. So just scoop it, spread it, make sure that it is you're just getting it onto the open areas of the stencil, so you kind of want to hear that scraping sound, and glue it all over the stencil. And the only thing that you have to remember is that as soon as you lift up the stencil, put it in water. You do not want that product to dry on it, okay? Then you need to let it dry. And Lene has done that for us. So you saw that it's white, but when it's dry, it is clear, just like this. See how shiny it is? It's not milky at all. And it was milky when it was in the container. So you let it dry. And then what Lene did is she took strips of the Blossoming Foil collection. Now this collection has lots of different colors, and I'm just going to open up. This package has been used, so it's not indicative of a fresh package, so I just want to tell you that. And I'm just going to do, a little area. So you can see that she has used this pinky purple, this one, as well as the lime green, the blue, and a lot of blue in that area. So I will just take a little bit of the, how about of the green? In fact, let me just show you some of the other colors. And you get 6 colors, you get 1 sheet of each. So there's just a bunch in there. So I'll take a bit of the green, and I didn't cut it, so let me grab my scissors and trim off a little bit. In fact, I think that's the other part that probably Lene used. Now, what you do is you position it. So I'm just looking at what Lene did. So she did kind of 2 or 3 pieces. I don't think she worried about getting them exactly in place because she's just alternating the colors all the way around. So that's perfectly fine. You do have the color up facing you, and you simply place this and rub. You just kind of burnish it down and then lift. And look, that's exactly what it does. So I'm going to go over a little bit and I'll do another one. Okay, press and lift. Boy, that was just exhausting, wasn't it? Press and hey, I made Jeanette laugh. There you go. So just all the way around. So you can see how fast that's going to go. And it's nice to have this collection of colors. So she's just popped that around. She did blue in the center, and just a gorgeous look. Then she trimmed it out. Now, in this particular case, so I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to bring my stencil back just so that we remember what we used. And I'm going to tuck these over. In fact, you know what? After I open up the package, I put the whole thing in a sheet protector just because it's going to keep all the pieces together, and I just find that works very nicely. Okay, so now I have my circle because I've cut it out, and I'm going to use the 6x6 cards and envelopes. It's also by Hunky Dory. And what Lene did is that she wanted one of the colors that's in here. So she went to the window view cardstock, and I will just tell you that it's so handy to have these cardstocks on hand because you can see all the colors that are in here, and you're going to get 2 of each, and it just works really, really well. So she selected this purple to kind of really support that kind of pink purple color. So she trimmed it smaller than the 6x6, so probably 5.5 by 5.5, and it gave her a 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and then simply glued that piece in place. Now the Get Well comes from our purple collection of Dazzles, and this has so many things that we do all in purple. So borders, words, greetings, lots of different kinds of borders because they're very popular, and put Get Well right there. Now obviously this could be happy birthday, this could be thinking of you, actually anything. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and you can choose your colors. You could make it more muted, you can, I don't know if you can get it brighter. This is pretty wonderful. So that is for this card and for that stencil. And from Hunky Dory, they will have, I guess they have some basic instructions, but of course they're not using the Tacky When Dry product. So we have one more card, and this was done by Debbie. And there's several things going on here. And let me just show you. This is using our 5 by 6.5 inch card. And she has totally covered it with our Gingham #1 collection. This is a 12 by 12, so you can see it's right there. And there's actually 2 sizes of ginghams, so that will take care of it. And you can see all of the kind of primary colors that are here. So she covered it with purple, and she she did 2 things on using the stencils. So she's going to use this one, because that's the one we haven't used yet. And I have to tell you, I didn't notice it first, but let's get in super, super close, because I want to show you something. Yes, you can see it. Do you see the green in the background? Well, first she used this stencil a second time. So that was interesting because I didn't see it to begin with. So she put that down. This is on white cardstock, and again using our trusty low-tack tape. And she used sea green and used it with the blending brush and just did it all over the piece. So, you know, just nothing tricky about this, just simply bringing it all over the cardstock. And I absolutely love blending brushes. I think they're so nice. And it just is such a great way for us to use these ink pads. And have you noticed what a great price those ink pads are? Yes, and they last a long time. Our design team is using them daily, and they just find they go so far. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole piece, but I just wanted to show you. In fact, this is a green I haven't used much. And so I'm just going to lift that. So you can do that with a lighter touch. I was kind of getting it really in there, but I think Debbie probably did more of a touch like this, just getting a hint of the green. Yes, Paulette put the low-tack tape in place. Okay, let me just show you that. So it's very faint. Okay, so that's probably the way that she did it, just to let you know. Then she took that same space and positioned the other stencil exactly on top, because then you're going to use markers to go into the different colors, and you can see that she's used several of them. So there's an orange. In fact, let me read you what all of those are. I don't want to scare you, but she did use the ice gray, hydrangea, dark red, orange, coral, jade green, true blue, pale pink, golden brown, lavender, and purple. You know, do whatever you like. But she just had a good time. Now, with the tri-blend markers, which are kind of our favorites, you're going to get 3 shades. So that's kind of neat. And you can see that there's some different shading going on. So all she did, and I'll just use the medium one, is just to color in. Just simply to color in. So just like super easy to do on a stencil. And I'm just doing the flower itself, not doing the center, because the center is going to be yellow. Just like this. You can kind of look at Debbie's and see what she did. Now, I'm going to lift this. I won't remove it from the cardstock, but let me just lift it. Okay, so you've got your flower, and you've got the green softly underneath it. Then she went back and used a black marker. Now, the one that we had has been discontinued, we just discovered. So to give you a quick substitute while we quickly we need to find one, but she used a Sharpie. This is a ultra fine, so you could use that if you don't happen to have a black one. And she just went around the edges, just like so. Now, if you like your flower without that, that's perfectly fine. So I'll just show you it both ways. So there it is with the black edge, and there it is with no black edge. So you can choose which style you like better. In any case, the next step is to cut the piece diagonally and glue it at opposite corners, and then do the dazzles in the center. Now this is using that purple set that she used, that Lene used on our earlier card, this one with the Get Well, okay? So she used the same purple, Sending Smiles, it has a little flower, and she used the purple ribbon set to just do a little bow and zot it there. So that is 4 stencils. I know we promised you 2, but hope it's okay if we get you 4 this time only. I don't know how often we'll be able to pull that off, but this time we were, and that's really kind of wonderful. I'm very pleased with that. And this is on the Money Saver, right on the right-hand side of your screen. Also added some of the slimline cards, since the first card was done with slimline, just so that you had that with the cards and envelopes. So different techniques. Who would have thought of using the stencils as an kind of embossing? That's nice with the help of a baby wipe. And you can do lots of different colors. Takes a little more patience, but you know, that's okay. And then you can go for flash and pizzazz if you like with our Tacky When Dry gel. And then you can do some coloring, just like Debbie did right here. So there we have it. The listing of materials is down below under each of the cards. And there is the Money Saver, as I said, on the right-hand side of the screen. I also want to share with you, we have a subscription. That's right. Every month we will do a new set of stencils. There will be, generally there will be 2, but you know, I hope it's okay if every now and again we get you 4, maybe 3. We'll see how it goes. It's $15, and you'll get, as I said, at least 2 stencils, and you'll get a free goodie every single month. And if you would like to join us, just sign up over on the right-hand side of the screen. I think it's right next to the Money Saver, and we would love to have you join us and your fellow stencilers, which is fun. And I think what we find is that there's just so much you can do with stencils, so much more than I ever thought of. If you are watching us on YouTube, we hope that you will like us, subscribe, and then head on over to paperwishes.com. It's the only place you'll find stencils and such, that you'll find the subscription, and you'll find this every single month. We'll be doing this and giving you not only new stencils, but as we always do, giving you ideas for using the products that we sell. I think we're the only company that does that, and we're just delighted to share that with you. Okay, I want to thank you for joining us, and especially I want to thank Lene and Debbie for putting on their creative hats and doing such a wonderful job for us. And I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.